All right, we're rolling. So this is episode 50 of the Grindhouse Podcast. I'm your host, Edwin Cabrera, aka Steady Eddie. Across the screen from me in his new digs is my homie, my day one, Chris Martin, aka Critta.
What's up, guys? Just real quick before we get today's episode, as always, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really helps us out. And also buy some merch so Edwin can buy a PS5. So if you head over to grindhouse.store, you can help Edwin get a PS5. So buy some merch.
Please do, man. I need one of those shits. I only have a PS4.
He's fiending.
Yeah.
Dude's fiending over here.
PS4 is old news. I need a PS5 now, you know?
Yeah.
Crit and I were just talking before. That's fucking amazing to us. I don't think we both
we made it to 50. It's a big feat, I think. The fact that we've done 50 of these fucking things is crazy.
I want to hit
blows my mind.
I want to my mind right now is set to 100. I want to hit 100 of these episodes.
Then you're gonna retire? Is that what's your plan?
The plan is after we hit 100, I don't know where we're gonna go, but we're hit 100.
You're gonna go sit on like a beach somewhere and drink pina coladas. And when we hit 100, is that the plan?
Depends on what 100 looks like. Are we signing some sort of a deal? Like, do we get money? Like, this has literally been a labor of love, and that's why like reaching episode 50 with like just not to say that it's like a lot of work or whatever like that, but it is like work to.
It can be at times,
Well, to keep it consistent, especially, it is a lot of work to be consistent with it. Always releasing it every week on the same day at the around the same time. Like it gets to be like keeping up with that level of consistency does become work.
It's like a job. We treat it like a job. Part of our week every week.
And which I don't mind at all, but like we need to, as a podcast, especially for what we're doing, we always have to keep working, keep our ear to the ground, keep networking with people, keep reaching out to people. So like just being like getting in the flow of doing that and continuing doing that episode after episode, podcast after podcast, and hitting that episode 50 for us, it like episode 50, I think it means a little bit more than just like any typical episode.
And even like looking back and seeing all the interviews we've conducted, all the sidebars we've done. We've had an incredible year, I think.
What's been your favorite moment up to this point? Like what's been a moment that stands out for you on the
podcast? Are you thinking like interview wise or like how are you feeling?
I'm thinking not just, don't say just one person, but just a moment. Like, was there like something that somebody said that sticks out to you? Was there like a moment that really like you really think about?
I honestly, it actually happened recently with the Takashi interview that we did, and he said a lot of like nice things about the podcast, and I think that definitely stuck out to me. That just getting those flowers, getting that respect was like,
I agree.
Meant a lot.
I agree. I think that I'm just piggybacking on that. That was dope because like we think the world of Kashi 2 times, shout out to Kashi. But him coming on like and just like showing that type of love and appreciation for what we do, like because when we started it, like we joke about it so much if you listen to like the way earlier episodes when we first started, we're like, ain't nobody listening to this shit. Like it's like welcome to the fucking podcast. Like the 2 people that are listening to us right now, like we didn't really think like anybody was gonna take us that seriously. But I think the best thing about doing what we're doing is like we learned that the opposite actually happened, which is like you give people a platform to show that they're like worth listening to, and like that they appreciate the fact that you've been reaching out to them to like show that kind of love, and they'll reciprocate, and we got that from the very beginning. Like I'm gonna bring it back to one of my favorite moments. This is actually not even a moment that happened on the podcast. This is a moment before the podcast, was like episode 3 with SD Knack.
I mean that was incredible in itself.
Yeah,
I mean the fact that he sat down with us and had a conversation, it was
the fact that it was
amazing.
The 3rd episode. It was literally our first, like we would consider like our first real guest, because J2 is like a part of Grindhouse, and so he was like almost like an in-house guest. But Esty was like definitely our first like guest that we had to reach out to, and like we didn't have like any sort of like rapport with. It was like kind of like, let's see if he's interested in getting. And the fact that he showed, you know, the amount of love he did by like, you know, no doubt he came on the
Yeah.
podcast, no questions asked. He rolled up, we had some beers and we talked about music, and it was that whole episode for me is just like in within like just like when I think about things that I've accomplished in my life, like that's probably one of my favorite moments ever. Just being able
Oh,
to
100%.
one of my favorite rappers who's like whose music has deeply affected me, and
Yeah.
like I've you know, different moments in my life, like listening to his music, to be able to talk music with him and just, you know, pick his ear about, you know, coming up from the same place and just like seeing what his perspective is like was amazing.
Yeah.
But even before doing that interview, just the fact that when you hit me and said like that Esty was like, oh, like down to do the interview, I think
Yeah.
that moment for me was like, oh my God, like holy shit.
Yeah.
I can't believe like that, you know, this is happening. Like,
Talk about someone that is extremely humble, you know,
yeah,
to give us a chance to interview him. Like we were like literal nobodies. Like obviously like I rocked with some like artists and stuff like that, but that new SD, but um it's still really fucking amazing that he gave us a shot, you know. Yeah, we're just two hip hop nerds that
you know,
to talk to him, and he
yeah.
was down. So
And that I feel like just getting him, especially getting him so early in the podcast, and just how that interview went. If you guys haven't listened to it, check out episode 3 with SD Knack. That's like you gotta go.
classic
It's a
episode.
classic episode.
Yeah.
We got a lot of love from that episode. Thank you for all the people that have tuned in to catch that episode. But you know, one of the things that stood out was like that interview gave us like that I guess confidence to be able to be like, okay, like there
To
ain't
get other
it don't
people.
get much better than SD.
Yeah.
So like
We
we
peaked
might
right
like
there.
this is like at first we're like, man, if we can get like, anybody, like it'd be cool, but like you can't get much higher than SD in my opinion. And so like after that, just give us the confidence, like who like if SD wants to jump on and talk this shit with us and like really get us, you know, like the background of what's happening in hip hop, then like who's to say like a
Yeah.
bunch of other people wouldn't? And that like really gave us the confidence to just reach out to anybody. Literally, like we reach out
And we
to
did.
anybody we want to, and you know,
Yeah.
obviously some people don't hit us back. Some people, most people show mad love though, and that was like, you know, the thing that I didn't expect was like I didn't expect this level of like just professionalism, and also just like the amount of like love that we've been receiving just like from people like being like no doubt
Yeah.
when
And it definitely it like keeps us going too. Like it fuels our like fire, you know. It makes us want to make more episodes and yeah, and just keep doing this thing. I mean I love it. I love that it's, you know, a part of what we do at Grindhouse, and yeah, I just want to keep doing more of these.
I also want to talk about gotta bring it that first interview with Wes, I think was one of my favorite
That
moments
was
also.
great. Yeah.
I think just because I think maybe I think you have met Wes before, like during the film.
Yeah, so I met him on the film set of The Process, and you know, we just instantly clicked, and you know, I got to talking. I'm like, well, you know, I have this podcast, and yeah, he ended up hitting me up and got him on the podcast. I showed you you know, his music and stuff, and we wanted to have him on, and yeah, honestly that was a really good episode, and you know, that obviously started our relationship with Wes, and now he's been on the podcast probably 3 times at this point. Yeah, so
And like just like having I think you know we've obviously had like honest vulnerable conversations on the podcast with various different people, but I think Wes really like let us into like just
oh
like
yeah,
everything, you know,
for
and just
sure.
like it was my first time meeting him. Like I'd never met him before. I don't even think we
Yeah.
like, talked online or anything. Like it was just met him for the first time talking to him. Really cool dude. Like we immediately clicked, and you know when we sat down to have, you know, the conversations we were having, he like just walls down at ease, talking about, you know, all the things that he had gone through in life, which is obviously like, you know, he's been through a lot, but like just his ability to be like honest and vulnerable with us and have those conversations. I was like, I think it was definitely a podcast in general, like that sticks out of my mind as like
Yeah,
when
I mean,
like,
I think
people
that's
should be having that conversation, you know, with each other.
yeah,
Like people should be honest and vulnerable and not be afraid to open up and talk about shit that really affects them. And I feel like
yeah,
that doesn't happen a lot. And I feel like then that episode is a great example of how men can sit down and have a conversation and talk about the things that like affect them or the trauma that they have and not be ashamed of it, you know, because I think what I see a lot of what happen with mental health, you know, and just like you know, suicide is like people are just afraid to really let people in because you know our culture, the American culture, isn't one that like you know people like they judge you when you're down and they respect you when you're up. But like
yeah.
you know, we should be more there and open to listening to you know everyone when they have something to say about what's going on and you know like what they've been through and you know what they've learned from that and that
Yeah.
episode is just like
And
when I
I
think
think,
about a powerful episode, that's definitely a powerful episode.
yeah, no, and I think the Luke Bars one is also
Mhm.
powerful. You know,
Yep.
he opened up a lot too. Because I mean, his record, Good Evil, it's a heavy record
Mhm.
if you listen to it. Um, so yeah, I mean, I feel like we've gotten a lot of those moments of getting deep into that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, yeah. So we've definitely 50 of these things, and yeah, hopefully we do 50 more.
50 more is the plan. Let's keep doing
So
them. And then at 50, and then at 100, we'll see where we're at, what we want to do, where we want to move, how
Edwin
we
can
want to move.
finally get that PS5 at 100. So
If I don't have a PS5 by 100, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. All right. Well, that was a nice little dance down memory lane. Obviously, we have so much like that was just the top, like the like very. We're just touching on it. There's so many like really cool moments. So just overall, shout out to all the guests that have came to the podcast and showed us some love. We love and
yeah,
appreciate all of you guys. Obviously, our doors are always opening to having you back on the podcast. And we just you know we appreciate the fact that um, you guys see something in our platform and actually utilize it the way we had hoped it to be utilized, which is like we're here to represent y'all and just give you guys a platform and a space to be able to show, you know, like what you do and just get it behind the scenes on like, you know, telling us about who you are and learn about you. And a lot of you guys have embraced it and showed a lot of love. So thank you so much for that.
yeah, we definitely appreciate it. So
Yeah,
thank you. Would you want to get into the news? I feel like we got
let's
a
do it.
lot of news, a lot of heavy stuff
Mm.
has happened. Where do we want to start?
I think King Von is probably at the top of a lot of people's mind when it comes to unfortunate, untimely deaths this week.
Yeah,
Because King Von, I think, I don't know about you, but when like he's been the buzzword in the industry lately, like the past month. It's so recent because it's only been, I think, almost like the past month where like I've been like I don't listen to too much King Von, but I know that he's like a great rapper, a great storyteller. He's about his shit and he's got a lot of like apparently like you know you got a few bodies on him, but I think the past month I've been hearing his name around all like a lot of places, and no pun intended. I thought like he King Von had a similar, almost like transcendence where he's just like you hear his song and now like all of a sudden like you're hearing this guy's name and he's around it. He just walked into the scene almost like one day he's not there and the next like everybody's talking about him.
yeah,
And I thought Pop Smoke was like that, no pun intended, where he just kind of walked in and all of a sudden everybody's talking about this guy. And King Von, same thing. He walked in like last month, didn't hear too many people talking about Pop Smoke. 2 weeks later, I'm sorry, not Pop Smoke, King Von. 2 weeks later, everybody's talking about King Von. Everybody knows King
yeah,
Von. So it seemed like he was just like on a rocket ship up to
yeah.
success. And just
He was
like
on the
unfortunately,
cusp of blowing
yeah.
up for sure. So
And unfortunately, just like Pop Smoke released an album just before his death. Like he released an album and he wasn't even there to enjoy the success of seeing what that album like was gonna do because he just didn't make it the week after. It's too eerily similar in the same year. It like this is the like when it comes to like hip hop music, this is always the worst part of the culture where that gun culture that everybody like is okay with and just like looks the other way on, like bites back and we have to deal with like how many violent hip hop deaths just in the last 2 years alone. It's way too much.
Way too many. Way too many.
And it keeps repeating stuff. And Pop Smoke and King Von, way too similar of deaths. Like it's just not the fact that this has to keep repeating itself like a cycle, and it's like
It's like look how many episodes
it felt like it's
had.
like, Pop Smoke felt like it was like 4 months ago, and it's happening all over again with King Von.
That's like, what I'm saying. Like we keep having these episodes where we have to talk about this shit, and it sucks. I hate that we have to like keep doing this. Like it just sucks.
Yeah, and so I mean, rest in peace, King Von. Definitely a terrible way to die. I mean, I unfortunately got to see the video. Like it was with all these videos, I never want to voluntarily see it, but I'm always scrolling in the timeline. Obviously, I follow like all the hip hop outlets out there that I know of. And so I'm just scrolling through, and I got to watch that video play over and over again. I'm like about to like fighting dude, and then one moment he's okay, and the next moment he's limp, and his homeboys are holding him up, and just you know, it's unfortunate because it was a fight that was happening. I guess King Von wanted to whoop some ass. He felt like some ass whoopings were necessary, and somebody from Quando Rondo's camp thought that a gun was necessary in a fist fight, and you know, did what he had to do, I guess. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the news recently. It slipped in my mind. I'm not sure if Quando Rondo's. I think because it was self-defense. I don't think they've been charged yet. I gotta look that up and just verify. But like it seems like they're pleading self-defense on what happened. And that's what Quando Rondo's saying, that his homies, like, they were just like defending themselves in that situation. But if it was indeed just like a hand-to-hand combat, there was no reason to pull a gun out.
Yeah.
But these things, I guess, happen when you have guns. So
yeah. Well, damn. Well, rest in peace, King Von.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. Rest in peace, King Von. Rest in peace, XXX. Rest in peace. We'll talk about him next, I guess. We might as well like usher it into MO3 or Mo. I don't know too much about MO3. I'm gonna call him MO3. And like as a rapper, I just recently, but it's just like when you already are reeling or thinking about one person dying and then another rapper is caught dead. And this story is like ridiculous because this was like a clear assassination attempt. Like I think MO3 was sitting in his car, and somebody rolled up on him and started shooting. He made a run for it, got out of the car, made a run for it, and they chased him down and killed him.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So rest in peace to Mo3 or MO3. Apologize for not having your name right out. Can't say that I was listening to his music beforehand, but it's just when you hear about like a rapper dying from gun violence, especially like two in the same week, and just hearing the stories and watching the videos of how they're dying, it gets to be too much. It gets to be too much. Yeah, that's all I got on that.
Do we want to talk about Benny the Butcher? Recently was shot
okay. Yeah, more shooting. So yeah, look, actually, let me talk about Boosie first. So Boosie was actually attended MO3's funeral, and on his way from the funeral, he was actually rolled up on and was shot himself. His car was shot. He was shot in the leg, and so Boosie's also shot. He's okay, but I think that happened in Dallas at a MO3's funeral. And then Benny the Butcher walking around. I think he was at Walmart, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was in Houston when this took place.
He got shot in the leg. Thankfully, he's okay. If he was killed, oh my God,
dude,
I'm done with 2020. Fuck
yeah, it was an attempted robbery. Apparently, they were taking too long, and so one of the people robbing him, shot him in the foot or the leg, and then they ran off. So, but I think Benny the Butcher is out of the hospital now. So he seems like he's doing well. But yeah, it's insane.
Does it say if they made off with anything, or they just ran off after they shot him?
I don't see that it said that they took anything.
That begs the question.
Because it says that they began taking out their jewelry. And then
that begs the question, like, would you take a bullet for your jewelry?
No, and I think that's why they were taking their jewelry off, because it says they started taking them off. So
I would say it depends on where you're shooting me and how much the jewelry costs.
I mean,
anyway, we can move on.
Yeah, yeah. Can we? Yeah, let's just move on. Cool. So
let's keep with Griselda real quick.
Talk about yeah. And this I would say is not a negative thing. Westside Gunn finishes his deal with Shady Records, so he's now a free agent. Any speculation on where he's gonna go?
If he's a smart man, I think he would keep with the Griselda Records and tries to build his own shit. There was talk about him, like he mentioned.
Do you think he's gonna do like some sort of partnership?
Possibly, I could see that. I think his main thing is he wants to be a record executive, even over a rapper. Like I actually was just listening on the Joe Budden podcast. He was talking about like he's only rapped like a few months this year. Like it's not like he's rapping every day. It's not like he raps for exercise. Like he's not.
Yeah.
I think he considers himself more than just a rapper, you know. And and I think he definitely fancies himself to be a record executive. And so I'm assuming his move would be whatever is going to put his ability to be a record executive and have that creative freedom of being his own record executive. I think that's going to be probably the highest thing. So whoever can come along and offer him a deal where, you know, they get a slice of the pie, but also they give him a lot of creative control over what Griselda is doing. And also can offer a lot of, you know, benefits to whatever they're doing, which Shady apparently didn't really. If you listen to the Joe Budden podcast interview, they weren't really like taking advantage essentially of what they had. And that seemed to be like a constant thing within Shady Records. So he, you know, he's out of there. He's a free agent now. And I think he's pretty much, I think creative control is probably the name of the game over money. I think Westside Gunn has a lot of belief in who he is as a record executive. I think he has a lot of belief in his ear and his ability to make things happen. So I think that's his number one priority is like over everything is just control.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely curious to see what happens.
I think he's definitely
I feel like
signing with any label though, because like Shady, not to say that Shady, like they were able to flourish under Shady, but it seemed like the way he was speaking, like Shady didn't really do much, you know, themselves. They didn't really put much into the pot. It was mostly, you know, Griselda doing their own work. So I think he'll definitely, wherever he signs to, is definitely thinking twice about like what they can offer Griselda, because he was able to offer a lot, but never followed through with any of that. So
actually, I need to check out that interview that just dropped. So I'll definitely be checking that out. Cool. So Takashi 6ix9ine.
You love him.
No, I mean he's your boy. That's why I put it on the list here.
You brought him up as your boy. What are you talking about? So why you love him so much? What are you doing? What is he doing now?
Apparently, there's a documentary on Hulu about him.
Really?
And then here's the kicker. So there's a second one coming out on Showtime. So it's gonna be Fire Festival 2.0, where you just have two different documentaries.
I guess now we get to this one.
It's just like people are just trying to cash in on that story.
I forgot, was the Fire Festival from I think the Hulu Fire Festival is better than the Netflix one, right?
I don't know. I don't remember. I
I
watched
think
one
it
of
was.
them, and I can't remember which one I
I'm pretty
watched.
sure the Hulu Fire Festival is better than the Netflix one. So I guess that gives me more excitement over the Takashi Hulu version.
Yeah.
Who'd you say the other network was?
Showtime.
Okay, but Showtime makes dope content though.
Yeah.
They make dope content, so they could make that fire too. I guess I'm sick of Takashi and you know I think we promised multiple times never to speak his name again, but we keep doing it because we love him apparently.
No,
Um,
I mean, it's your boy, dude. So I just,
yeah,
I don't want to offend you, so I put it on the list for you.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I don't care. I'm gonna
Me
give him
too.
the views. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
watch it.
what cut he gets from this movie, but I'm gonna watch this fucking movie because actually I want to hear his story. I know his story is a great one. I know his story is a very interesting one. That's why we all gravitated to him in the first place. It's not
Yeah.
like he was like some like industry schmuck that like all of a sudden we heard his name in the radio. He created his own buzz and he did the most with it. Like he was able to because we all saw a lot of people try to do what Takashi did and fail miserably and then end up in like rehab and then try to fix their lives,
Yeah.
i.e. like Boom Gang. I don't know if you remember Boom Gang. Remember Boom Gang?
I don't. I don't remember.
Some dude who did stupid shit on the internet. Um,
Okay.
but Takashi was the only one that was able to make himself successful, from doing
Yeah.
it and staying. Because, like, then you had Lil Pump, but Lil Pump is a fucking joke now. He's always been a joke, but he's definitely a joke now.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think at the end of the day, they've all sort of become jokes because now we got Takashi who was definitely reached a higher level of success than any of those people, and then had it all crashing down when he decided to rap.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that rise and fall, especially like knowing like before he was famous, what his life was like, and pretty much like the fact that I mean, if you could argue that he may have all like if it wasn't for what he did, there's no saying like if he would be in the worst place now than he is. Like he could very well
Yeah.
be a drug addict in the streets because like he never got over, the death of his father, or I remember I think at the time like when he was dealing with a lot of that shit in his family, like he was pretty close to wanting to just die. And so there's who's to say he wouldn't have killed himself already if he just like the Takashi was before he got money and got famous. Like it wasn't an easy life for him. So um I don't know. It is what it is. He chose the path he chose, and he's got to live with it forever and ever. And I'm just gonna watch the documentary and wonder, what the fuck did this guy do with his?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit!
Yeah, man.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So yeah,
I think if he
I'll
was
also be
murdered, I honestly feel like if he was murdered, there wouldn't be many people that would actually show love. And that's kind of crazy. I don't know. That's me. I think
Yeah.
that he's worked himself in this position where like not to say that people are wishing death on him, but when he dies, I think people will use him as a cautionary tale. It's like,
Yeah.
look at that guy. Like that guy, you shouldn't do what that guy did. He's a fucking idiot. Anyway, that's the Takashi documentary.
There it is. Cool. That wraps up the news segment of the podcast. Do we want to get over to the releases?
Talk about it.
So Van Buren pretty much just has a whole segment on the podcast. Giles recently released It's Not Much, but It's Mine deluxe version. He added 3 new songs and an outro.
You know what's funny about that is I don't know if he like had us in mind at all. When it comes to because I know he like posted something about like people been giving me shit about like, it's like it's too short or whatever like that. But that was like one of the things that we kind of like criticized.
Yeah, we wanted more.
Before. It's like
we
it was
wanted
good
more.
as fuck and we wanted more.
Yeah.
And I think we even told him that on the podcast when he was here. It's really great, but it's like, man, I wish it was more. And here he is. He listens to the people and he delivers.
Yeah, gave us more songs, and he also gave us a music video. So for Rutland, which I like because it's like it's sort of like run and gun type video.
Mm.
You kind of like follow each member through the
Cool.
house. So yeah, pretty cool video.
Dope. Yeah, I can't say that I've unfortunately I haven't come around to listening to. I've listened to Rutland. I saw the video, but I haven't listened to the other two records. Um, so I'll have to come back to that and give you my thoughts. But shout
Yeah,
out to Giles. We love Giles. I fuck with Giles heavy.
yeah.
Friend of the show. Check out his podcast that we have with us. But congrats to him. I did the Rutland Park video was dope, but I caught that Saint Leor video. Um,
Oh yeah, for this is not an image.
that video is fire, bro.
Oh
My
man, it's
God.
so good. It's so good.
Oh
It
my
looks
God.
amazing. It's like cinematic as fuck.
They murdered that video. That video was
Yeah.
dope. So shout out to uh, uh, whoever made that. I'll shout him out. I'll give him a proper shout out.
So it was directed by Noah Weisfogel. I think I'm saying that right. I'm sorry.
Shout
if I
out to
butchered
Noah
your name.
White's Fogel. That was dope, man. I enjoyed. Like, I know when I smile as I'm watching a music video, that's how I can tell like
Yeah.
a music video I like really fuck with. I really enjoyed the shots in the video. I really enjoyed like it was just a very beautiful cinematic video, and I think it really captured like um just how creative and fun it is to be in like a like that band Buren group, because like they're always in each other's videos. They're in this video, but like they're just like the framing, the lighting, just kind of really like the tone of the shots themselves, like him like standing in like the podium with all of them in the back, like that was just so good. I really like that was some of my favorite frames from a music video in a while. So shout out to Noah and his crew for bodying that music video for a fucking amazing song. Definitely for me, I would say in terms of local videos, it's probably my favorite. It's probably up there as my favorite of the year.
Yeah. It's fucking dope. So if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go check it out. I think it came out a few days ago. But yeah, super dope.
What else we got?
For releases, what do you got? You listening to anything new?
Yeah, I listened to more on the mainstream, I guess, or more of the the bigger artists. So the Food Villain, have you listened to the Food Villain?
No, I haven't.
So Alchemist released a new beat tape album called the Food Villain, and it's pretty much sound bites of "Fuck That's Delicious," like as he's like with his really dope beats over it. It's so good because like Fuck That's Delicious is literally like one of those shows for me, like a comfort show. You know, a show that you watch over and over again, that just like you feel it makes you puts
you've had like a long day and you just like throw that on it. Yeah, it puts you in a good mood. You're like you're laughing.
That's definitely one of my favorite comfort shows. So I love this album because it's like it's all my favorite sound bites from the show. Like you got Big Body Best, like pasta laughs, ooh like you have all the little sound bites. And the production is obviously.
I gotta check that out.
Alchemist. It's so good. You gotta check it out. That last song, the last song with Big Body Best is fucking great. Because I've been waiting for the Big Body Best album for forever. And so to hear a Big Body Best track, you know, produced by the Alchemist and like have it be as great, because that song is fucking dope. Like that track is dope. So definitely check out the Food Villain by Alchemist.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Any other mainstream records come out this week? I didn't see any that like caught my eye.
Nothing that I want to talk about. I mean, yes, they some stuff would come up, but I don't. Nothing that I'm like that comes to mind that I feel like talking about. So I'm gonna pass on mentioning anymore.
All right, well that pretty much wraps up our episode.
All right, so if you guys like what we do, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Show us some motherfucking love. We gonna keep doing this. Episode 50 We're gonna do it till episode 100, and then we're gonna do it till episode 150, and then 250, then 300, then 550. Then eventually gonna hit 1,000,000 episodes, and by then we better have way more fucking subscribers than we do now. So please like, comment, and subscribe because we need it.
Peace.
Buy our merch too, bitch.